Good morning, everybody. I wanted to share with you, we're into corporate taxes now, and I had promised everybody after personal tax season, we were going to do corporate taxes. And so that is what we are looking at to do now. I'm doing a live stream. Please be a little patient with me. I'm having a few challenges sharing my screen. I'm more of an educator than a YouTuber. So I'm just trying to see if I can do this. Otherwise, I'm going to have to. Here we go. Here we go. And I'm hoping everybody can see this, and I'll check it out, the live broadcast. In Canada, corporations, I'm getting a lot of people that are they're asking me the question to incorporate or not incorporate. That's the question. There's, certainly numbers. If you talk to your chartered accountant, professional accountant in Canada. But the topic I really want to talk about today is if you have incorporated your business, say to provide services to another business, or say you have just decided to incorporate, what are the tax consequences? Do you get the small business deduction? You might be surprised. And just because I've had so many questions and I'm worried that people are going to be offside, I wanted to cover this. This is directly from the Revenue Canada website in Canada, the federal website. The question is, are you operating a personal business? Whether you choose to incorporate or be a proprietor, that's up to you. But if you're incorporating, and whether or not you're providing services to another company or individuals, you might be considered a personal service business. And when does that exist? Well, it exists when the individual doing the work is considered an employee of the hiring company. So if your company was doing work for another company, and just because you're incorporated doesn't mean you might not be considered an individual or an employee. And so it's really important to read the Revenue Canada website. If you like to do things yourself, contact a Canada Revenue Agency and ask them, this is what I'm doing. I've incorporated my business because I'm expecting to expand over the next year. And I just want to make sure I'm on side with the tax rules. So first of all, what do you need to know about PSBs? Okay, PSB is responsible for, you have to file a corporate tax return. This is called a T2 in Canada, regardless. Okay, if you have employees and you're paying them wages, you file T4s. If you're making over $30,000 a year, you have to register and file your GST or HST, depending where you are in the country. I'm currently, my home base is British Columbia, so it's GST. If you were in Ontario, it would be HST. Warning: a personal services business is subject to the full and federal corporate tax rates. Okay, you don't get the benefit of the small business deduction. And then what you get is an additional 5% on your personal services business income because you are considered an individual. You're not considered a corp. Okay, the incorporated employee of the personal service business return services company, is required to file an individual tax and benefit return. Okay, the personal services business, you're not eligible to claim that small business deduction. I was talking about that. Depending on the province that you're in, 15%, 12%, 16%. You cannot claim the general tax rate deduction. You might not be able to deduct all the expenses. So it's really important that you understand, if you're a personal services business corporation. Okay, this is a brochure directly from the Revenue Canada website. And if you Google, personal services businesses, it'll walk you right through this. It's pretty straightforward. So this started in 2022, okay? Canada Revenue Agency, they launched the pilot project to understand, the business practices of personal service business corps, and to help you as an individual, if you're a PSB, better understand your obligations. So it started in, June to December. So they looked at identifying hiring practices and industries with voluntary review of the records, the PSBs. that they discovered. And phase 2 was from October 23 to fall 24, identifying. So they went looking, do we have potential personal service businesses through educational outreach to learn more about how and why they operate using the business model and educate them on your filing obligations. For example, there was an era when in Alberta, if you were working in the oil and gas fields, you had to incorporate. Because they wanted you to be responsible for your own work safe or workers' compensation, depending again on the province you're in. All right. So these two phases, when they did this study, that's the basis that they're using to determine, okay, are you a personal services business? Are you not? So we've got links here to find out if you're a personal service business or not, and to learn more about the pilot project and understand if that's of interest to you or your professional tax advisor. The other thing about a personal service business, generally you'll have less than 5 employees. So what I would encourage you to do, that's going to end our presentation. If you're incorporating, so that you know you're filing the proper tax return, as it says here, a corporate tax return, T4's employees, GST, and an individual income tax and benefit return, that would be a T1. And you may have to pay this additional 5% if you are identified as a personal service business corporation. I hope that's helpful. If you want me to do a more in-depth, let me know. I would encourage you, if you're not sure, to either reach out to Revenue Canada or your personal tax specialist to determine where you are in the tax world and your business ventures. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll talk to you soon.